my wife at the time bought a book called Driven to Distraction. And she goes, I think this is you. And there's like the big 10 commandments of ADD, like falls asleep while reading, interrupts, snaps judgment. So she gives me the book and I start reading the book and I'm like, oh my God, I could have changed it. Well, Roger, for example, I could have said Sully, like every single name.
Was you.
I'm all those things too.
Bring in the doctor.
Bring him in.
Dr. Schaffer.
Shane, thank you.
See? Hey, hold on, I'm talking. By the way, first of all, is it Schaffer or Schaefer?
It's Schaffer, but call me Shane.
You're saying
Who have you ever met named Schaffer?
Stop interrupting. You're saying it wrong. He's like going, I've got a case study here that's going to Harvard eventually.
We do have the perfect ADHD news here, I tell you. This is great.
Can I tell you something? I've named it the bug because I think I have it under control in so much that I don't think I could work a mixing board and a soundboard, have notes on you, have a camera here, a microphone, people in studio, and you on Zoom without sort of having that sort of bug that I call it, if you can tame that bug. But maybe I could, you're the doctor.
You're describing it perfectly, actually.
Yeah.
No, you're describing it perfectly. I mean, there's three components to it: inattentiveness, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. As you think of kids, you think of that little boy, right, who probably encompasses all three of those elements. You take the younger female or the little girl, they oftentimes don't have the impulsivity or hyperactivity. But then now let's move into adulthood. And look, I know I have a little bit of ADHD, but if you look at adulthood, that impulsivity can sometimes still be there where you interrupt people. The hyperactivity typically is gone by then.
Hey, Shane, hold on a second. I'm buying a car right now.
I was joking around. I go, squirrel.
Yeah, he said, no, it's true.
There might be a squirrel over here, so yeah.
So what did you call this the genesis of Cingulate? How is that found? What is it, first of all? How is it founded? How has it evolved, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so the company started with me and two other guys. So Dr. Raul Silva, Dr. Matthew Brahms, these are two of the most preeminent key opinion leaders in ADHD. And I had the good fortune of, while I was at Novartis, working with these guys. And fast forward now to 2013, we're at a barbecue, July 4th, at Dr. Silva's house. And it could have been the perfect mixture of Coors Light and barbecue, but those guys were lamenting the fact that ADHD, we've been treating it for 60 years at the time, now 70 years, with the two same medications, Adderall, amphetamines, and methylphenidates like Ritalin and Concerta. And the problem has been, and it still is, there's no medication out there that lasts the entire active day. And that's what our goal is. Our goal is to provide a medication that has a fast onset, lasts the entire active day, no booster doses needed. And simply put, as we sat there around the barbecue, was, let's do this. Why don't we solve this problem? So when I named the company Cingulate, it's because in the prefrontal cortex, that's where your cingulate gyrus is. And the anterior cingulate is where all of your executive function occurs. And that was the beginning of Cingulate Therapeutics. And now we're public, the ticker CING, right? So we've come a long way. But our goal is really, we want to build the best product for patients and providers and make it something that payers want to reimburse for.
Dr. Shane Schaffer, Chairman, CEO, Cingulate, their ticker symbol CING. Shane, when it comes to little kids with ADHD and ADD, things like that, do their brains shut off at night when they sleep, or are they constantly on the hamster wheel?
It's a great point, great question. So it depends on the patient, number one, and it depends on the severity of the disorder. So again, mild ADHD, the first thing I always say, and by the way, I'm a pharmacist by training, but I've been in ADHD for, 25 years now, and work with some of the top psychs. So I'll call it a pseudo psych, but not an MD. But the fact is, our doctors talk about this all the time. The mind of an ADHD patient never turns off. And that's why when you look at our pharmacokinetic profile, the way we've designed our medication is so there's a little bit of stimulant in the body still, in the blood system, which has the ability to help that ADHD patient get to rest, to get to sleep. You don't want blood levels, at midnight, but 8, 7, 8, 9 in the evening, low blood levels will do exactly what you're talking about and help that brain turn off.
Hey,
so
let me ask you. Let me ask you a question about that because I know it's something that I have slayed the dragon so much, and I think over the years I've gotten better at it because you know you have to actively kill the little black head that the monster in Men in Black that pops up. You have to shoot him down every once in a while.
Right.
But I will tell you, I've struggled with sleep my whole life, and I'm assuming because I'm not on any medication for ADHD. When I took Ritalin as an adult, I felt like it was prescription grade speed. I wanted a couple beers. It was not a good thing. Like it was like, hey, this feels pretty good. It shouldn't feel this good. And I know what it's supposed to do. It does the opposite to folks with ADHD or ADD when you have a stimulant like that. Is there a tie-in with your drug potentially, not only with ADHD but other maladies, like for sleep, for example?
So just had a conversation with a very well-renowned insomnia expert, ironically, last week. This guy has done amazing work in the insomnia category. So if you're like me, Sully, I mean, here's me. I can get to sleep okay.
Me too.
But 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, boom, I'm up. I got to turn on Frasier or, embarrassingly, Matlock or something.
Are you? Wait a second.
Love those
And
old
this isn't the new Matlock either. This is the old one.
My mom was in the Fall Asleep in Front of Matlock Club. And by the way, me and Mike and Greg, no, not Greg, me and Mike, by 11 o'clock we're on our second pee. So 1 o'clock. This is why Bloomberg doesn't put us on prime time. But yes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is, and I just want to go.
It's the worst feeling.
Because being in television and radio my entire career, 4:30 is okay. 4:30, 5 o'clock. But if I wake up at 2, I'm 9 times out of 10 done. It's miserable. Yep. So I'm glad you have that. Talk about, Mary, you had a question.
Well, a couple of different things, but one is I think you mentioned you would just take the one medication in the morning and then it would time release throughout the day. Is that what you're saying?
So here's the cool part about it. Think insomnia, think ADHD, think cardiovascular disorders, think oral oncology agents, think HIV meds, think anti-infectives. At the end of the day, compliance is important, but at the end of the day, what we really care about is outcome. Am I giving patients the best possible chance to have a better outcome than what is existing today? That's all a patient needs to take. It's about the size of your pinky nail. Mm-hmm. And thanks for showing the graphic earlier of what our tablet looks like. That's it. Inside this is this little tablet. And then the third one, you got it right there, is a tablet so small, I can barely even show it to you. Mm-hmm. We can modify this delivery technology to deliver the right drug at the right time, at the right place, and in the right ratio. I can take 2, 3, or 4 of the same or different medications, put them in blends, put them in an isolation, and then determine exactly when that drug should be released, in what style. Do I want to pulse it, or do I want a sustained release? Or do I want to pulse, sustained release, pulse? That's our ADHD product. Each dose release has a reason. Why am I doing this? It's all about optimizing patient health. And that's the beauty of this PTR platform. And as we kind of alluded to, multiple applications in so many different therapeutic areas. ADHD is a $22 billion category. That's our first shot at goal. We're really excited about CTX1301. The data has been incredible. So that's going to be filed here in the next few months.
Dr. Shane Schaffer is the chairman CEO of Cingulate. Their ticker symbol is CING. Find out all about them at Cingulate, CINGULATE.com.
I will tell you that particularly within women and older women like me, because I just discovered, I didn't think my daughter had it because I thought it was the little boy in the classroom with the fidget spinner. And it presented differently in my daughter. And then as I was researching it and learning it, and I was with the doctor answering her questions, and I was like, wait a minute, that's me too. And so I know a lot of women that are now, later stages going, I have had this my whole life. Yep. So I feel like it's growing exponentially. Is that what you're discovering too?
So the growth in this market, everyone thinks of this as a childhood disorder. And look, it's when it typically, to your point, absolutely, that's when it gets diagnosed a lot of times. The reality is, just factually, the adult market is double the size of children and adolescents combined. It's the fastest growing segment. Our product is going to have 8 dosage strengths, 6.25 to 50 milligrams. Why? So that we can optimize every patient. The patient that has severe ADHD or the patient that has mild ADHD. I think there's a ghost breaking into my office.
Wow, that's scary. That's going on YouTube. My gosh.
Shane, blink twice if you're being held.
My dog's down here. I'm like, Roscoe,
give us that signal if you're being held captive. Shane, I got a question for you. In terms of being a publicly traded company, your stock symbol CING, of course, traded on the NASDAQ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
How close are you guys because we just saw the FDA arc of that story. And because it takes a little bit of cake in the bank to run those things. You got a runway to do all this? Talk to us about the FDA and the money in the bank.
Yeah, we're in really good shape. We've had a very nice run up in our business over the last few months. We've hit all of our milestones. You know, we look back at when we went public, which was late 21, perfect timing, right? So it's been a rough go being a publicly traded company. We're working really hard to try to get more fundamental investors to understand our story, to see not only the value in ADHD, but also anxiety, which is our third asset, and then insomnia, et cetera, et cetera. So,
are you raising your hand?
Yeah,
tough,
I'm like,
but we have capital, we have runway. We're excited to get to the FDA filing of our first asset in the middle part of next year.
Shane, do you guys take the risk-averse version model and you get a bigger company to take this drug to market, or do you hire the handsome men and women with the little suitcases that walk in the doctor's offices? How do you go to commercialization with this thing?
Great question, Sully. A whole new world, and this is even pre-pandemic. The fact is, the numbers of reps that are out there today is minuscule. When I was at Pfizer, we had 30,000 reps out there. That number has diminished tremendously. So what we need to do is think about this the most effective way, and that is omni-channel marketing, definitely boots on the ground where appropriate, medical liaisons out there speaking to top-notch physicians and key opinion leaders and influencers when needed, and doing it effectively. We're partnering with a company called Indigene. They are the #1 company in our space in getting a product to go to market. 19 of the top 20 global pharma companies work with them today. That's our partner, and it didn't cost us a penny to execute that agreement. The infrastructure is built. Now, to that point, we're also talking to other pharmaceutical companies here in the US, small and mid-sized companies that maybe will co-promote this product or launch it fully. The point here is we are not commercializing this by ourselves. I'm not building an infrastructure, but we do have plans in place to commercialize it with Indigene or a third party.
Here's the 800-pound gorilla in the room question.
yes. How soon can I get this?
Can you send a little packet, get a little envelope
Quickly.
here? Can we hurry?
Chop, chop.
This is compassionate treatment, so we don't all kill each other.
Exactly
I
right.
see, they don't even let me see it.
Yeah. So what's the time frame you think? I mean, because you've got to have people knocking on your doors already about that, especially the ghost in the background there.
Yeah, exactly. Can I get some? I won't make a funny voice. So reality is this, in our phase 3 trial, this was with adults. So many patients were talking to the lead investigator saying, please keep me on this, which is great to hear, and heartbreaking because we can't do it. Yeah. So our goal is to file our NDA, which is the new drug application, in the mid part of next year. So we're talking June, July timeframe. And then you got 12 months after that for the FDA to do their review of the product and get this product on the market. So we're going to push as hard as we can. The data has been fantastic. We just want to get this to patients.
Shane, will you come in studio sometime? It's not a big ask. It's San Diego, California, after all. I know you got a beautiful day out there, but we'd love to have you come in here and hang with us a little bit.
I cannot wait to, and I really can't. I was talking to Greg, and I was like, I got to get there. I'm thinking February, Kansas City, February.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. It's a great time to visit.
I'm going to send my daughter's a MD of physical therapy in Kansas City. I'm going to send her over to you, by the way.
Right.
Awesome.
You guys just have a chat. We need to
Chip off the
have
old block.
her talk to you about that.
Mary Burke Godwin's new superhero, Dr. Shane Schaffer, Chairman, CEO, Cingulate, their ticker symbol CING. Find out all about him at cingulate.com.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. More
guys.
big biz.
Thanks so much.
Coming
See you
on.
soon.